amazing book that I've just finished. I listened to this, so it's none other than one of my greatest inspirations, Tan France. He is from the Queer Eye group. I listened to this book on audio, and I have absolutely fallen in love with Tan France even more. I didn't know what to expect from this book, and I'd obviously bought the paperback of it, and then I found it more convenient to download the audiobook for when I walked to work every day and came back. So that was 25 minutes. That was just me and Tan France. And first of all, I want to talk about how beautiful this cover is. He's a beautiful man, beautiful colours, and then the inside of it as well. I only just looked at this, but even the inside, the detail, there's a little photo of him. And I think so much thought had gone into this, and I can absolutely appreciate it. But just even the titles, it's got different images. I just love it. Anyway, but I learned so much from this book about Tan, but also about what he educates in this book. And so he is a gay man in a traditional Asian family, and it was really interesting hearing about that, hearing his story, and hearing how he coped about that, because it's something that I've never really, been introduced to before. And so you only get a snippet of him on the show, and it was just so intimate to be explained by Tan, his culture, the expectation, the fact that he grew up in England and being bullied just because of the colour of his skin, and how he would bleach his skin to try and be whiter. And apparently that is a popular and common thing to do in Asian countries, because they think white is better. And I honestly had no idea, and I'm mortified that I didn't, but this book really educated me, and I think that's what Tan's message was all about. And so it was really a personal journey to watch him go from a cheeky little child that was always right, which never changed, to his adulthood. He loves a good old told you so. But listening to how he grew up with that, and how he found himself and quitting, and I think it was 24 jobs in a very small amount of time, just because he knew what was right for him. He had in some aspects been a very secretive person. You get to know him a little bit better as a child, and then going through teens and as an adult, but he was always a very secretive person, but now a very reserved person. But the point of him going through his journey was because he always wanted more. He knew he could do better. And then his husband, who is so highlighted in this book for everything that he had done and everything that he pushed him in. Honestly, it is the sweetest story you would ever hear, when he talks about how they first met and when they first started dating, and it was a international romance for many years, and it was long distance, and how they made it work, and what they mean to each other, and why it's a long-lasting relationship. And he's his rock. His husband is his rock, and he expresses that in such depth and in such love, and it's just a beautiful thing to read about. And then he talks about his career going into fashion and making fashion and selling out, just the ups and downs, and not being able to handle his workload. He had so many businesses running at once, and he broke. He couldn't handle it all. And I think that hit home a little bit for me. Trying to catch up to yourself, should I say, your expectation and workload, and to hear someone like Tan France going through a very similar thing, obviously at a much larger scale, but it really gave me hope that there's a brighter side, I guess, to the other side of the hill, is the quote I'm after. But it was absolutely amazing to read. And then when he was suicidal, and that was something I would have never expected from Tan, because he is so reserved and poised, and then you hear about the sadness that he was going through and the hardship that he had with that. And around that time, when he finally made the decision to let go of his businesses, was when he received the call for the edition of Queer Eye. And at no point did he really want it. He continuously was saying he didn't want to apply for it, and it was his husband who pushed him to. And he didn't want to go forward with it. And then he did. And he got it, because he was so honest and so true to himself. And he was very different to the other four, because they were Americanized and he was British, and there were a lot of differences in that. So it was interesting how he bounced back and forth between those. And what I took most from this, more than anything, was one, how much he has grown as a person, how this life-changing opportunity meant so much to him, even when he didn't realize that he needed it. But also, it made me understand more the pressure of being in an Asian family and the discrimination that they fight against every day. I had no idea. So it was interesting in that aspect, especially now living in the UK myself, living in Scotland. I never knew that there was such racism, I suppose you could say. And so it was really hard to listen to when him and his brother would run home because they were scared they were going to get bullied and bashed, and one day his brother did get beaten the shit out of just because of how they looked and just because of their colour. I think Tan educated me on that because it definitely opened my eyes. Overall though, I absolutely love Tan's book. I find it super inspiring. He's inspiring. He's my new favourite. He's a little bit of an idol now for me. And I think you should really read this book because I think there's a lot to learn from it. He's an inspiration. He's a queen himself. I reckon sit down and read it. I would give it a 5 out of 5 indefinitely. I probably actually preferred this more than Jonathan's. Don't tell him I said that though. Thanks guys, and let me know what book you're reading at the moment. I think the next one I'm going to read is Karamo's because we all know I love the Queer Eye, so I'm going to see what Karamo has to say and what his story is. But let me know what you're reading and if you've read Tan France's book as well. Talk soon. Bye!